Hi, welcome back to Fresh Faces New Ideas. My name is David, and welcome to the channel. If you like what I do, or if you like the videos, please like and subscribe, or you can follow me at Faces Ideas at Twitter. So for today's videos, we're just going to do a bunch of React videos to the Daily Wire. So there's two of them. They're both relevant. One of them is one of those man on the street videos, and that's the one we're going to cover in this. So this one is one of the reporters, I don't know who it is, it'll say it in the video, is going around and he's asking people different questions. The title of the video is what should be a minimum wage, or there's $50 minimum wage, whatever is something like that. But that's only one segment of it, so we're gonna go look at that video and then we'll see. We'll just take a look and see how wrong it is.
Keep anybody out.
Yeah, I think it's just rooted in racism, specifically like Hispanics and blacks.
I'm Ami Horowitz, and Joe Biden has been pushing a progressive agenda, but has it been progressive enough for the left?
No. Okay, so very clear, they're setting up a straw man argument. Joe Biden was not the progressive candidate. Although he ran on this idea that he would be this FDR type candidate, this is what his advisors pushed toward the end, he was not the progressive candidate. He wasn't even the second most progressive candidate. He was the main centrist candidate. That's what he was. That's why he ran on working with Republicans. That's why he ran on unity and bringing things together. The progressive candidates were Bernie and Warren. That's who it was. So no, he's not progressive enough for the left. He just isn't. But we understood that. But we knew he was a better option than Donald Trump. So yes, if you ask, he's going to ask these people, has he been progressive enough? They're going to say no, which makes sense because he wasn't. We knew there were things going in that we weren't going to get.
Let's go find out. So do you think Joe Biden has been progressive enough as president?
Not even like 1%.
Where do you think he's failing?
Everywhere.
Joe Biden is progressive enough as president?
No.
Progressive enough as president?
Also, to be fair, it's still very early. So right now, like the only real things that is going to have passed at the time of this taping is the COVID relief bill. He had a shot to be very progressive with the $15 minimum wage. It didn't happen. We've discussed that in other videos. But I mean, look, we understood where we were going to get him with Joe Biden. I've made it very clear on Center Left Radio, and I'll probably reiterate it. If we can come out of the Joe Biden administration with at least a public option, maybe federally legalizing marijuana, some type of student debt cancellation, more than the $10,000 that he wants, that would be a win. But I'm not expecting universal health care, free college for all the things that Bernie was pushing for. So that's the difference.
No.
I think if we just look at America not progressive enough for anybody.
I don't think that I've heard much from Joe Biden since the
Of course, they're going to put this guy in because, their thing is Joe Biden is hiding.
inauguration date.
One of the policies that Joe Biden has been attempting to initiate is a national $15 minimum wage. That seems progressive, right?
But obviously 15 is not enough. 15.
So I actually covered this in my minimum wage video. The $15 minimum wage is the compromise date. So the argument is, should we have a $15 minimum wage? Should we have $10 minimum wage? Should we have a $11 minimum wage? Currently it's $7.25. 15 is the compromise because based on inflation and production, it should be somewhere between 19 and 25. Okay, that's where it should be. Is there a minimum wage that would ultimately hurt the economy significantly more? Yeah. I don't actually know where that number is because I've never heard an actual argument of someone stupid enough to argue for significantly higher than like 25, but only in the context of, what it should be or what it would have been had it kept up with inflation.
Here
I need a number, brother.
livable.
Yeah.
I guess it'll go state by state, but if we want to go national, I'm thinking $25 an hour.
$25 an hour.
At least.
Do you think that $35 is a more reasonable wage?
Okay, so I'm going to skip ahead because all he does is get asked progressively higher. He goes, do you think it should be 35? Do you think it should be 50? Do you think it should be 75? No. let's start with 15 where the compromise is. In reality, we should ask for more and then come down to 15, because that's really, if you want to compromise, you have to start high, asking for way more than you want, and then you'll end up with the number that you're going for. But I don't know. I think 35 is probably too high. So we're just gonna ignore this because he's gonna ask a bunch of dumb questions. $50.
minimum wage. Would that be the right?
$50 minimum wage would be beautiful.
Has also canceled the Keystone.
Okay, hold on.
$75 an hour be reasonable.
Sure.
Joe Biden has also canceled the Keystone pipeline.
So this was a very common talking point. This is not accurate, or it's very misleading. So the Keystone pipeline was projected to do about 14. What was the number? Is expected. So this one says 11,000. But these figures are coming from the 2008, the October 28th. These are coming from their site. So a lot of these jobs have come in and out. So ultimately, the creation of the pipeline would have created about 10,000 temporary jobs. Once the pipeline is created, it would create 50 jobs, and of those 50, 35 would be in Canada, and the other 15 would be temporary. So it's not even creating American jobs, if this is their argument. It's creating Canadian jobs. And we already know that this has been a massive environmental issue with the Keystone Pipeline. So this is just a misleading fact that they're going to point to all the time.
Cost of 11,000 U.S. jobs. He's also increasing the cost of carbon.
So I actually looked this up because I'd never heard this claim before. So what it is, it's called the social cost of carbon. So here's an article on it from Politico. So what the social cost of carbon is for every ton of carbon that is released into the atmosphere, what is the impact that is going to have on society because of climate change and things like that. So Obama had a cost, and it's based on every ton of carbon that's produced based on each factory. Whenever you produce something that produces carbon, so Obama had a much higher one. Obama had let's see if this one actually says it. I don't know if this article says, but Obama's was like 27. Trump made it $8. In some articles it says as low as $1. And then, which if your cost of dumping carbon is $1, you're going to dump a lot of carbon. But if your cost of dumping carbon is, this one says the interim figure. So currently what happened is, he bumped it back up to 51. So that's what it's currently standing by the latest data that I could find. And what it is this is a temporary number while they do more research to decide, okay, well, based on how much carbon is coming out in this area, that's how much the carbon tax should be for this. So that's what it is. It's not bumping the price up for carbon. So that's what it is. And this is more to educate everybody because I'd never heard this. This kind of got buried. There's a weird talking point that I'd never heard before. But yeah, this is good. It's good that things should not pollute as much, or you should be penalized for pollution. That's one of the biggest issues that happened under the Trump administration was the EPA. First off, the guy who ran it first, Mick Mulvaney, his thing was getting rid of the EPA. So the EPA's goal was basically to allow as much pollution for the companies to make as much money. And so a lot of what he's doing was just reversing that.
Name of climate change. Come on, we could do better than that. What about doing a 6-month shutdown?
So this is like a two-part thing. He's going to ask them about shutdowns in order to lower CO2 levels. Now, one of the things that came out from just like a study based on the COVID lockdowns was that CO2 levels plummeted, or the amount of like the pollution that was put in the air plummeted. It was like a 7% drop in CO2 levels. The problem is, even doing that, we would have to do that like for like 3 months every 2 years in order to hit the levels that we need to if we did nothing else. So that's what they're trying to do. So the two things they're going for is lockdowns. Do you think we should have more lockdowns for this ridiculous notion because they don't believe in climate change? And do you think that's okay? That's what he's going to ask right here.
to bring down CO2 levels.
Sure. I think that everybody should ride bikes.
Should we lock this country down and lock the world down for, let's say, a minimum of 6 months to bring...
Now, in theory, this is totally possible. If you actually got the governments to like coordinate well enough to support their citizens, and we had some type of infrastructure that we could finance the world. If we like this would be like if a world ending, like a Pacific Rim type of governmental thing where they all got together and they built the giant mechs. That type of level of engagement would be required for us to do something like this. Is this less ridiculous than some of the other proposals? Probably not. This is a crazy argument that I've never heard before. I would love to find somebody who's actively pushing for this. That would be entertaining.
CO2 level down.
That is a good idea.
I'd say 3 months is more.
Because look, on its face, if you think about it, you're like, okay, yeah, I guess that would work for a little bit, but it's more like the planning and how you would ultimately figure it out.
Reasonable.
Okay.
6 months, depending on how successful that 3 months is.
Do you think 3 months works? Maybe we can look at 6 months.
Yeah.
You think that would be possible? Like we can lock down for
Everybody,
6 months?
they would need to in order for us to stay healthy and
Right, and that's the thing. You have to weigh whatever the damage that would happen to the economy and to people for those 6 months versus the catastrophic effects that we are currently seeing from climate change and is only going to get worse. Because right now, the number one threat, according to the U.S. Army, is climate change. So that's what you're weighing these things against.
to reproduce so that we can have food and be nourished again. Yeah.
And it would be worth the sacrifice of the...
Again, this is part of why worth sacrificing of the businesses. This is part of why the American lockdowns were not done effectively. We did it in the worst possible way. We both did not lock down fully and did not support the people when we locked them down. So if the government, instead of firing a money cannon, because the first Trump stimulus was the largest stimulus ever, but the reason for that was it gave corporations a money cannon, and it gave them like $4 trillion that they could just do whatever they want with, and that most of that was basically used to prop up the stock market. If we had instead actually invested that into the people, we wouldn't have to be passing another $2 trillion one now. If you had actually taken care of people, it would not have been this bad.
This is... I've been going... Yeah.
Yeah. I think it'll be worth it.
Okay. You know, they may go out of business.
They may go out of business.
Okay, because the ultimate... So this is part of the problem with a lot of the climate change stuff is it's a short-term loss for a long-term gain, because the amount of money that we have to deal with every time there's these category once in a 500 year storm that comes every 10 years, the once in a 500 year flood that comes every decade, we had like 6 category 5 storms that are going on at the same time or something this year. Is the cost of that is so great, and it keeps building, and we're just never ready for it. So this would be a very... Is this the most ideal way to deal with climate change? Fuck no. But it would be a good one.
No, in fact, the lockdown that we've had in America wasn't enough.
So do you think we should do a year-long lockdown for CO2 levels?
They were able to execute it properly, sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Would you support a, let's say, a
Let's just
year-long
move on to the
lockdown?
next one.
That's what it takes here.
I would lock everyone.
You have to lock them up. If you
If I
could
made
do
even
it.
more sense, we could do that. That would be great.
President Biden also wants to cancel student debt.
Yes and no. So look, I'm pretty sure I've covered this. If not, I'll do a video more when this comes up again, because I'm sure there's going to be a fight over this at some point soon. There appears he should be able to cancel student debt. From the stuff that I've seen, he's able to cancel student debt. The number that's being pushed by people like Elizabeth Warren and some of the progressives is 50,000. There are some of them who are saying he can get rid of all student debt. He's saying he can do 10, but he's not sure if he can do 50. And I'm not sure where his argument is between 10 and 50. He can't do it, but he can absolutely do it. And the studies show that if you cancel the student debt, this would actually stimulate the economy massively.
Something high on the progressive wish list. But is that really enough? Should the president look to cancel credit card debt?
I'm going to say
Okay,
that.
all right. So this is just a dumb argument. He's gonna go. Should you cancel credit card debt? Could you cancel mortgages? I don't know. I'm gonna say probably not for gambling debts. I haven't looked into or heard anything about credit card debt. I think that a lot of that is comes from other sources of debt that are similar to student loans and other factors that lead to credit card debt. So I honestly don't know if he has the power to do that. I know for the student loan debt, he absolutely has the power to cancel it.
I feel that if you
Kill me, man! Joe Biden has punched his progressive ticket by wanting to give a path to...
Look, pathway to citizenship. The argument is come here legally. Well, if you have the people who are here, why not give them an option? So you just throw them out? There's 11 million... that's the number that stated is 11 million undocumented immigrants in the country. You're just going to just round them up and toss them out, not say, okay, you've been here for X amount of years. We're going to give you a chance to actually become a citizen. This is such a, like, this idea that it's because they argue this is amnesty. Yes, you should have a pathway to citizenship. Obviously.
Citizenship for all illegal immigrants in the U.S. But I think we could do better. But is that enough? Like, for example, we're a big country, a massive country with a massive amount of money. Is it immoral to have any border, keep anybody out?
Okay. I don't actually have an opinion on this one. I think it's similar to some of the other the voting arguments about like having prisoners who are still in prison vote. It's like a next step argument. This is never going to happen. This is one of those things that they're asking just because it's just complete ridiculousness. So he's just asking about borders. Should we have a border? And this is part of the argument that the left wants open borders. Nobody's arguing for open borders. That's just a thing they made up.
Yeah.
That's a new term. Obviously, universal health care is a major progressive goal. But how about making it really universal? Okay, obviously you believe in...
So, like I said at the beginning on the progressive thing, Joe Biden actively campaigned on not having universal health care, which would be Medicare for all. But it's worth mentioning, every time this is brought up, 33 of the 34 most economically, like the biggest nations, have universal health care. The only one that doesn't is America. Study after study has shown. The most recent one was the Yale study. It said that over a 10-year period, because this is how they get their $30 trillion numbers. They do it over 10 years. It would save $2 to $5 trillion, and it would save 500,000 lives from having universal health care. So that's the argument for it. But Joe Biden was very adamant he wasn't going to go on it. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I would understand, if we're starting with maybe whatever Pete Buttigieg was the Medicare for all who wants it. They're that argument for Medicare. But the universal health care is where this country needs to go.
Universal health care?
Yeah.
Should our country start providing health care for people?
So, I don't even understand what this statement is. Like, what exactly does that mean? Because to some extent, we do. We do it in aid. We give aid to other countries now. Like, we give malaria nets and drugs to countries in Africa in order to help protect us. So yes, should you have some type of healthcare to other countries? Yeah, it's in aid. Everyone should do it. It's similar to what's going to happen with the COVID drug. Once the U.S. is fully vaccinated, they're going to start sending the drugs to other countries that can't afford it, because the overall goal is healthcare is a thing that the more people that have it, the less of an issue things are. So yes, we do give aid to other countries now. So I don't know if he would refer that as healthcare, but that's how I would interpret this.
I've never thought about that. No. I think that they should be here.
So we should bring them. We can bring them.
They're welcome.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Right. We're having open board. They can come here and get it.
Yeah. I actually suffer from like a rare disease called hypophosphatasia. It's a bone disorder that makes my bones really soft. And there's only one company that makes the medicine, and
Crazy expensive.
I take it 6 times a week. It's an injection. Each injection is $16,000.
As a staunch supporter of universal health care, she might be interested to know that if she lived in the universal healthcare paradise of Great Britain, she would not be able to receive this life-saving treatment.
It'd be a great place.
Okay, I guess, yeah, but you didn't compare it to all of them. There are other ones. So that's about the end of this video. Let's go back. So, that one's just, this is just more of a less serious video. But yeah, look, Joe Biden was not the progressive dream. He just wasn't. That's basically what he ran on. He ran on being a centrist. The minimum wage should be 15, no questions asked. Could it be as high as 25? Probably. Is there a number that would break the economy? Absolutely. Do I know what it is? No. Somebody who actually studies this can tell you what that number is. The Keystone Pipeline, 50 jobs. It was not 10,000 jobs. And if your argument is, okay, he's going to destroy these jobs anyway, his client bill introduces 10 million new jobs. So there's that on the other side. Yeah, so that's really it. A lot of this video, those are just the goofy little videos that they do. The whole thing's to get like gotcha, or to get these sound bites. So look at how dumb these people are, or look at how ridiculous they are. So if you like this content and you like what I do, please like and subscribe. Please follow me at Twitter @FacesIdeas. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.